never would have happened before because I wouldn't have been open to that. I've been like, yeah, no, I am not going to speak about these things that I do that have been poo-pooed and judged my whole life in public. Like, heck no, I'm not standing like that. And now I'm like, yeah, I'm done hiding. I'm done hiding. I posted the other day that I was a tarot reader and I was not hiding it anymore. Right away, someone popped on and told me they were sad for me and afraid for me and they hope I find what I'm looking for. And I was like, thanks. And I full disclosure, what I wanted to say was I wanted to defend myself. And my partner was like, Michelle, you don't need to defend yourself and it's not going to go anywhere. Just say thanks and move on. And the cool thing about that was A, I was okay with that response. I was okay with not defending myself. And B, it didn't, like, I didn't hang on that. Like, it's not still bothering me. I'm just like, she's where she is and I'm where I am. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling bad about it. I'm glad I'm not there anymore because I was that person, which is like, oh, I was that person. But then also like, she's not a bad person. She's actually quite lovely. Like,
yeah. At the end of the day, she's looking out for your well-being. She's just
coming from a place of compassion.
Yeah,
and she's coming from that. She announced that. I'm like, yes, and it's also judgment, and I feel that too.
Yeah. Well, there's a third option too. You could send her to the Over Sharon podcast. I think we have an episode where we talk about that. So you could be like, blame these guys.
Yeah.
Stick around us. No.
I'm learning not to take. I used to take everything personally, but why? It was because I needed to. I needed to feel accepted and loved. That was the only way I felt it, is if somebody approved of me. And now I'm like, yeah, no, it's not going to work that way. I am who I am. And we may or may not vibe, and I'm okay with it either way. And I don't wish you anything other than love and compassion on your journey, no matter where we land. Right. Like,
I concur.
It's just, and it's beautiful to live that way. It used to be so hard because everything hurt me to my core. Everything was so painful. It was like, oh, why don't they like me? What am I doing wrong? What am I failing? And every day sucked. I'm not kidding. Every day sucked. It was so hard. And then I found self-love and self-trust and self-worth. And now I'm like, this is me. And if I can be of service in any way to anyone along the path, the road, the journey, whatever you want to call it, I'm in, because I think we're supposed to connect with certain people and we help each other rise, whatever that means. I don't even know if there's a direction to it, but you know what I mean?
You can say raise consciousness. That's a safe one to say it. Yeah. I totally agree with what you're saying. I had a conversation recently with a friend and we were talking about, when you learn all this information, like I was talking about different histories, right? An alternate history in the Civil War and, World War I and all this stuff. And I was like, when I first found this out, I used to try to tell everybody that would want to hear it. But now I realize that some people just aren't ready. And then I had to look and see why I needed to tell everybody and why I needed to convince everybody. And it just came from a place where I wanted to validate myself, with other people's opinions and be like, oh, isn't this great? So then I knew that I was on the right track because I didn't trust myself.
100%. Yeah. When I first started, like I was so grateful for all the healing and the way I felt anew. And I just wanted it for everybody else. It was like I was pushing it. It doesn't work that way. And I don't even know that I would go so far as to say they're not ready. I would just say it's not where they're at, because ready implies there's some sort of implies that there's some sort of I don't know. I guess there is stuff we have to do to be open to receiving, but ready implies some sort of a lack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, go ahead. I was just going to say in the case of
you're better than them or something.
Yeah. What I was going to say in the case of the alternate history, or even you could say conspiracy stuff, we've said this before though, but some people they just don't care because they're living their life, and it could even be a form of escapism, which, I still engage in forms of escapism. So I'm not judging, but it's kind of like we're buzzkilling their good time,
Yeah. I mean, sometimes ignorance is bliss, right? I mean, we talk about that. It's such a cliche saying, but I mean, I think avoidance is a part of everyone's life, whether you call it avoidance or escapism, or, it doesn't matter. Cause I think that's the first step to discovery. I think when we actually like go, oh, I've been avoiding this thing. Why? Like there's an awareness there. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, which we say all the time with my clients. Like we just like, they've even said it to me like, oh, I saw that. Now I can't unsee it. And that's usually our first thing, right? Like, oh, I hate that piece of myself, or I, you know, whatever, pick the thing. And it's like, but then they come to the realization, I actually love that piece of myself. It's teaching me a lesson. It's helping me grow. But the instinctive like, is there. We don't want to see those parts that we think are ugly. We don't want to see those parts that we are ashamed of. You know, it's like we're talking to shadow now. Shadow, inner child. I mean, the ages, you know, I have millions, so many ages in my life where it's like, you need to go back and heal her. You need to go back and talk to her. She needed some love. She needed some love. What did she need to hear in that moment? I can go back now and just say, yeah,